Yes, this is Mark Cards USA. I need to give you a demonstration of some very unique technology. Imagine knowing the winning hand before the dealer deals the cards. Well, I'm going to show you how this works. We're going to play Texas Hold'em, 4 players.
Can I shuffle that deck?
Yes, you can shuffle it.
It was a real shuffle. It can even be washed, right? 4 players.
Yeah, 4 players, right.
All right, we got 4 players. That is a shuffle deck of cards.
Yeah.
1 4 1 4 1 4 1 4 1 4 1.
So 1-4. The computer here, there's a tiny camera on the side here, and it read the side of the UV marking. The computer right now is telling us that 1 and 4. So in a 4-player game of Texas Hold'em, the first player is going to have the best hand, and the 4th player is going to have the second best hand. That's player 1 and player 4. Now player 1's got the only decent hand. 7, 8, 9, 10, jack. That is a straight for player 1 and a pair of kings. 2 pairs for player 4. Kings and 8s. And that is crazy. How long does that take? That took like 1 second.
1 second.
You can wash that deck on the table, but within 1 second, you're able to know the winning hand at any poker game with any amount of players.
Speaking of playing cards, as some of you probably know, I'm a big fan of playing card photography, and that's why this video is sponsored by Vero. Vero is more than a social media app, it's a community, and I know how cheesy that sounds. But there is no algorithm, no ads, and most importantly, no one siphoning your data. Above all, it allows content to be posted without compromising your artistic integrity, meaning you can post landscape photos, portrait photos, nothing's cropped, all on the same slide, which is so good. You can follow your favorite hashtags and creators and view the content in chronological order, the way it was meant to be. Since I first mentioned Vero, thousands of you have joined the playing card photography community, and I wanted to encourage all of you to keep it up by running a photo contest on my page. Click the link in my bio and check out my profile for more details. I do believe it's time the playing card community got together again and showcase what it is we're passionate about. I feel lucky to be able to have a sponsor that I actually believe in, and truly hope you guys give it a shot. If you're looking to develop your photography, or you're just looking for a place to showcase the amazing work that you already do to a community that actually cares about your content, go check it out. It's so refreshing not to be sucked into an algorithm for like 3-4 hours and watch your life just slowly dwindle away to nothing while you're getting fed this constant bombardment of saturated content. Okay, maybe I've taken it a bit too far, but I really do enjoy the platform and I truly believe in it, and I hope you guys check it out. Back to the video.
As far as we can look back, magic, cheating, and hustling go hand in hand. One of the earliest examples of this crossover is found in what is known to magicians as the Bible of Card Magic. This is the Expert at the Card Table by S.W. Erdonez, which by the way was a pseudonym, and we still, to this day, do not know the author's true identity. There's actually a movie that was made recently about this person, and I've left the link below. It's an interesting movie, and I encourage you to watch it.
Expert at the Card Table by S.W. Erdonez.
S.W. Erdonez.
S.W. Erdonez.
S.W. Erdonez.
How did he just disappear?
This book was first published in 1902 and caused quite a stir with both magicians and professional gamblers at the time. It was a book on how to cheat at cards, but cleverly disguised as a guide on how to not get cheated. This was only so that the author wouldn't be arrested. Erdonez taught a variety of techniques which every magician still uses to this day. Among some magic tricks, this book demonstrates how to rig a card game using nothing but sleight of hand. But to put any of this to good use would require years of practice and relentless studying of the game. My friend and ex-card cheat Daniel Madison has devoted most of his reformed life to studying the techniques devised in this book and how to use them in a magic performance instead. Go subscribe to Daniel if you're interested in learning more about subterfuge at the card table. Obviously, there were other ways of putting the odds in your favor. Different apparatus were introduced throughout the years, most of which are switching devices, otherwise known as holdouts, where the player would secretly swap in a card for another, giving him an edge. But with the rise of cheating, also came the rise of security. Casinos are now the last place anyone with an itch to cheat would dare set foot in. But aside from the card stuff, there were true con artists who would use a variety of ordinary objects in order to make bets that they simply couldn't lose, no matter how impossible they seemed. Titanic Thompson was arguably the best and most documented case of this.
There is someone who's pretty infamous in the hustling world.
Oh, yeah.
And that person is Titanic Thompson. He's a fascinating character who would find these crazy, outlandish bets and make them seem so ridiculously impossible. And he was so good at creating that impossibility and then winning. So this is a book on Titanic
this
Thompson?
is a book on Titanic Thompson, absolutely. And there's a bit where he's, I think he's actually Ghost. I can't remember his name, but you know, like a Pibboff's Mafia a little before the Chicago mob. So he was in New York, and he starts eating some pretzels, and he's like, "Well, Titanic, I don't think even you could throw a pretzel on top of a, you know, like a 20-story building or something." He says, "Yeah, sure, let's do it. If the bidding's good enough, I'll wager." And he says, "Yeah, okay, let's go. Let's take a look." And then he switch in one of these pretzels. Now, if you're hungry, just don't take a bite. And this...
That is, listen to this. That is a heavy pretzel.
He would make sure he'd have loaded peanuts, loaded pretzels, everything to make sure he was always ready.
So these
for
are
a
all,
bet.
wow, these are all
Yes.
super, oh my God. These are all very heavy. I mean, the genius with him, and let's be honest, wasn't him coming up with these bets. It wasn't him winning these bets. It was how he got the bet introduced.
Exactly. Yeah.
He would just, in conversation, kind of like a magician, because magic, as you know, is always stronger when it isn't like, hey, show me a trick. And, you know, with him, it's like, hey, you want to bet on something? That would be weird. So he kind of navigates the conversation into this, and that's what made him this con artist. This is my friend Steph. Basically, Steph gaffs cards for a living. He basically takes a regular deck of cards and makes it into something else. But you also do this with dice and other objects. So there's a lot of questions I want to ask you, and there's a lot I want to get into because you've brought just a ton of stuff to my office, including all sorts of machinery and all sorts of cool decks. Is there anything you can show me real quickly?
Yeah, sure. So the thing with a deck, you know, like most magicians do, they start out with a deck of stripper decks. And
right.
Obviously, the thing you can't do with a stripper deck is have it kind of halfway reversed.
All right. Well,
worse,
hold on a second. So a stripper deck, for those of you watching, this guy's super advanced, so you have to understand that there's some terminology here, which I will break down.
And then you kind of put a taper there, so if you reverse it, then you can just strip it out.
But that's not what you did
no,
there.
That's not what it is. But these are, they're coming from more of a shady underground world.
Got it.
And this is one of the things you can do with those. And kind of like doing that, you know, because obviously the things you like most in poker are aces. So you can do that. Now leave an ace out just in case you want to leave an ace in case you want to do some demos and stuff, or just a basic explanation. But you know, we can do that too, and get to the queens like this. And obviously, if you want to cheat, sometimes you don't want to get the aces too often. Then you can get something like the queens, the kings. I'm sorry. There you go.
Wow.
And that's the basic idea.
Why don't you take us through some of the other things that magicians may use in a sort of gambling demonstration?
Basically, if the people are not touching the cards, you can get away with a lot more. So you can even show that the deck is maxed,
Sure.
whether it's not, and then you just do a single cut. And then
now
you get it
everything's
back
back
in new
to
deck
new
order.
deck order.
Now, obviously, I wouldn't need new deck order. If I'm cheating, I would, you know, like maybe have the aces and kings
Sure.
for blackjack on top, or I'd have a recipe. Do you ever heard about a recipe?
No.
So if you have a recipe in your deck, it's kind of a stack deck. Magician would call them a stack deck. If you have a recipe there, you just need to do a couple of shuffles like that, you know, and once you're done, you do that strip out that kind of looks like a cut, and then you're back to your recipe. Now, obviously, that's new deck order, but that's what you would have. So that's one of the things that can be used.
When we're talking about shuffling in casinos, normally there's a few types of shuffling that the people working there will do, but one thing that they have to do is wash the deck. Basically eliminates a lot of sleight of hand. First of all, it eliminates all the sleight of hand, most of it.
Yeah.
And secondly, it eliminates the use of most trimmed cards. Yeah.
Yeah, most trim cards, and you can't do a shuffle.
A false shuffle.
Yeah, false shuffle, or just even following
Right.
a stack of cards, you know. And so these are belly strippers. So the cool thing with those is you can actually dead cut to a card.
Wow.
So if you're playing for mayorship or something like that,
Yeah.
like they see, you know, when it's a tie, you can obviously strip them, have them stacked. So if you're doing like this, now I know I have 2 aces up there, you know.
Very nice.
And exactly, and now for the last ace, you can, let's say we want to put it in, I don't know, maybe what, 8th position or something like that.
Could you bring out your card trimmer?
Sure. Okay, so let's start by doing an old gentleman.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your favorite card if you need a key card?
4 spades.
4 spades, excellent choice.
I've got 2 in there as well. Because I'm a magician.
Okay, so this is what we do if we want to. See, I can see that side here is a little bigger than that one. That one's a little narrow. So I'm going to aim at that one, and we're going to take out a little bitty bit of that playing card. Like
What's a little bit?
To me would be 1/32.
Yeah.
So there you go. We took that. That's a lot, but
that is it.
yeah.
You can't even see that. Like, I mean, you can see it up there. That's just a tiny little fragment, but what that allows us to do...
Yeah, give me a second, though, because there's something I hate about this, and that's usually how you buy those cheap Svengali decks. You see, you can see some little horns there.
So what he's referring to is the side of this deck here. Normally they just go around and it's nice and tapered, but here there's like a jagged edge. So if you buy them cheap, is what you're saying, in a magic shop,
Exactly.
they might just cheap out and do it that
Yeah,
way.
they just use it with scissors. We want it to be round perfectly. So
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Now you have
That
a
is
short card.
cool, dude. That makes nice round corners. And these are both specifically made for cards?
Yeah, these were made by Old Man Webster.
Old Man Webster,
Yeah,
the guy who made the dictionary?
No, the guy that was part owner of the KC Card Co.
So this is now a trimmed card, and it looks like all the other cards. Let's see, after a shuffle, if I can make the cut. And I think I already see it. Nope, there's an ace.
Oh, that's good.
Hold on. We'll cut to another ace here. I think maybe this one. There it is.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to just through that cut to a short card. Hold on. That does take some practice, huh?
Yeah.
Because normally,
There we go.
normally short cards are pretty blatant.
Yeah, and I figured, you know, if you're doing magic, you want something that you can just leave out there. Every time I'm doing a gig in a bar, I just leave my deck there.
Dude, if I gave this out to anyone, they would not know that there's a short card in this deck. And yet, what a great tool to be able to have that at the ready. What's this here?
That's for putting some work in your aces if you want to try it.
Oh, I
That might
see.
be fun. At least one.
All right, let's put it on the ace of spades here. And we don't want to give away all your trade secrets on this video.
Okay.
Respectfully, we're going to keep some of that a secret. If you do obviously want to check out Steph's work, I left the link below.
So we're doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sure you can.
That's it.
Yeah, well, this one's a little bigger.
That's a hair. This is like an eyelash.
There you go.
Let's see.
It does take some practice. There you go.
Wow, that is cool. One more time. It's tricky though. I understand why this takes practice,
Yeah, it
especially
does
if
take
you're doing this if you're a performer and you're out there doing some gambling demonstrations. This is something that takes a lot of practice because it's not something you want to mess up. So another facet of this gambling stuff, which I find really, really interesting, is dice work.
got quite the collection of dice stuff.
Well, you know, just take a look at these, and we'll go and we'll start from there. So these kind of look fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm pretty sure they are. If you want me to double check. Okay, I'm pretty sure they're I'm pretty sure they're fair. But if you throw them, you always get a 7 or an 11. You know.
Oh, I see what you did. A little switcheroo.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the basic sheen. You know, you put in some tops.
So you just
tees
grab
or
these, you just throw those
Exactly.
out. Okay, I see.
So these are I would say these are the heavy hitters. I mean, and you can get hit, you know, with them, you know, on both ends. You can make a lot of money with those. And
Yeah, or you can get your legs broken.
Busted, yeah. So these are sure shot dice, you know, you're not going to miss.
Yeah.
So what you want to use usually,
Or weighted dice.
no, if you want to use tops, you'll use one that only has 2 faces that are the same, so they don't see. So 1, 3, 5, these are 1, 3, 5s. So they'll never
Yeah,
crap
because
out.
I'm only seeing 3 angles anytime I
Exactly.
roll
You
it.
can't
and
never
it's-
see more than 3 faces.
You
so
can't
you're
see
good.
4 angles.
Yeah, and that's why some
Smart.
crap tables and casinos have a mirror. So with that one, with a 1, 3, 5 combination, you're never going to crap out. So
You'll
you're
get
gonna
a
be able
right.
to
You'll get
make
a
your
6,
score-
an
your point,
8,
yeah.
a 10, but you'll never get a 7.
Yeah, and if you want to crap out, then you put in a 2, 4, 6 with your 3, 5, 2, 4, 6 with your 1, 3, 5, and then you're never going to score.
5,
So those would be
8,
passers, and the other ones are busters.
6.
See, but if we take that little balancer there,
Yep.
okay, this is the classic spin of a dice. You see, it's gonna
So what
slowly.
are you doing here? What is this?
This is for making sure there's no weights.
This is to make sure the dice isn't loaded
Exactly.
and there's no weight. So if there was a weight, it would act differently.
Yeah, exactly. And now for that, I actually brought one that has 17 loads in it. This is really heavy.
Really heavy.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
See, so if you start, see how it, you know,
Yeah, if you ever see that at a casino,
yeah,
you just leave.
yeah. Especially if those are your dice, you just run, and you'll.
But if
probably
they're
gonna
not your
make it.
dice, just pick
Yeah,
your
just-
money up, pick your chips up,
exactly,
and go elsewhere.
But you can see how that is heavy. This is like 17 loads, so that's kind of cool. There's no weights in there.
Yep. Okay.
But then again, if I throw it, it's always going to land on a 1. Sorry. It has to be because there's a magnet here. It always has to
Oh.
land on the 1.
Does this work?
It's not going to be as effective. It's going to work if you really hit it on, see? But if you hit it on the corners, it's gonna work, but it's gonna be on the corners. Now here's the cool thing: you don't always want to win, you know, with snake eyes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want a 6, so you just reverse the polarity of it.
Oh.
You just put it the other way around, and then you're good for a 6. Sorry, you're good for a 6.
Wow.
See? It's always gonna land on a 6. Obviously with a bigger magnet, and then the other way around, it's always a 1.
It's always gonna land on a 1.
Yeah.
Do you think there are people out there that have tables that are rigged like this?
Oh, you mean juice joints? I don't know. Although there's going to have some juice joints where they're just going to put it under, you know, like
a
in
mat?
a park. No, just a park. They're playing outside, and there's a juice joint there, and you put it on. Or
So when you
off
see
whenever
guys
want.
like shooting dice and stuff, like they're
yeah, even under
Wow.
I think it goes up to maybe 2 inches of slab of concrete. It's gonna work anyway.
What else you got?
Yeah, what else I have? I have these here, and these are kind of cool because that's a cup, you know, standard cup. You
Yeah.
can see there's no flaps, there's nothing in
Sure.
there. These are dice. You're not going to see anything. There's no weights in there,
Mm-hmm.
and actually those don't even work. If you're trying to cheat, you know, I actually played a game. I was doing a bar gig, and afterwards they invited me to a dice game.
Oh.
And they were playing bar bet. You know, like the aces are wild.
Right.
You have to get the highest score possible.
Got you.
Highest be
Like a poker
30.
hand?
Yeah, exactly. And these don't work. You're not going to get your score, and that's not going to work either. But if you put the two of them together, it's still not going to work. But if you put the two of them together and you do that whipping motion,
Yeah.
then you can get all 6s and aces.
Whoa!
So that's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's cool. Anyway, this one flipped because it's a sleek surface, but you can actually see.
I mean, even
I have an ace right now.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
What is the science behind that? I got to know.
Okay, well, that's the thing. There's some edge work in there, and I have a dice edger if you want to see it.
Yeah,
So
bring the
there's
dice edger.
So there's some edge work in there, and we'll just finish that. But here's
Cool.
the cool thing, and there's a special clot in there. So if I put it on the wrong surface, you'll see like it's on a 2 right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna tumble, and once it gets on a 6, then it's gonna slide and stay there.
Right, because the edges are rounded.
Exactly. Well, not rounded, but there's a 60-degree angle. In
There's an angle.
So it's going to flip till it gets on the right surface.
Until gravity won't.
Exactly.
The friction of
And
the
since
pad
you're
and gravity
doing it
won't do it anymore.
fast like that.
Can I try?
Yeah, sure.
You gotta give it a good shake. Oh, I think that's good.
Yeah. Well,
Hey.
the first one flipped.
Hey.
Yeah, but the first one flipped. I think it was
flipped
on
out?
6. Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah, and if, let's say you want to do, this is more for
Dude,
magician. But,
I'm playing Yahtzee tonight.
so if you want to play a poker dice,
Whoa.
then I gaffed them so they would only be on the aces.
Whoa.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, do not play Yahtzee against this man. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm making fun of this. Yeah, these are regular dice. They're actually from the Legends Casino. They've been canceled. You can see it right there. So they've been canceled. You can
When
see
they're
it here.
canceled, they stamp them like that?
Yeah, kind of a little stamp.
And then when they're in work, they have these numbers because they swap them out every so often so that you can't cheat with
Yeah,
them,
and
right?
then there's these are more expensive because there's that little security owl there
Oh.
in the background. Because when you start learning to switch in dice, and I think you have a pretty decent switch, but maybe you want to have the
Yeah,
open
a little
palm
Bobo
switch and
switch
something
or-
a little
yeah.
better, then you need feather edge dice. So
Okay.
this is supposed to be set, unless it moved while I was driving. This is supposed to be set for feather edging. So if I do this like that.
These little shavings, very tiny shavings coming off these things right now. Nothing too crazy.
And there you go. And you can keep that.
Like if I were to find this in a box of a board game that I had, I would never be like, well, these are rigged, never. So this is so that more often than not, my roll's gonna come up.
Yeah.
And so what does a good switch look like?
My favorite switch is the Connor switch, like that,
That's what you did.
That's what I did.
So you're
That's the
palming
one I
this.
like, yeah. So you have there's a little description.
Oh, you're palming that.
like that, and then you switch it, and then you can switch it back. So.
And then you're palming with your palm afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So
So if I were to lay that over, it would be something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but you just slide your hand though.
yeah. So you can do it like that.
So I'm here.
And you're grabbing it with the palm here.
And I'm grabbing it with the palm as I'm moving it there.
Exactly.
But if I'm here too, I could probably just go like, here, watch, right? And
Oh, that's nice.
do something like that.
Absolutely.
Love that. Sleight of hand with dice. As a magician, I'm always looking for a new angle on creating a magic trick. And so, as you know, since the beginning, you look at Erdonez in 1902, made basically the Bible for card cheating, which became the Bible for sleight of hand magicians. I'm always looking for a way to overlap the two, and so I started checking out these sites, and this site was really interesting, and they've got a lot of really cool devices. I wanted to show you some of them. So the first device they've got is, you got these decks, you got these cards. You got all sorts of cards, by the way, on this website. They can make your standard bicycle decks or these decks. And there's something really cool about these cards is that they are marked with a sort of UV lighting. So you can kind of see it here. But these, perfect. So that would be the 8, the 7, 10, the 2, the 7, the 3, the 4, and so on and so forth. And what these glasses basically allow you to do is see a frequency of light basically that the naked eye doesn't pick up, the ultraviolet light, and it's picked up through these. Is this something used among cheaters nowadays, you think?
I think it's still used, yeah.
Really?
I think it's still used, and people are starting to make them with, with those glasses, but even, like
You seem a bit nervous when I brought these out.
well,
I'm
these
not
are
going to
kinda
lie.
Cool. Yeah, these are kind of cool. Cards
It took
too.
me all about 10 seconds to find it on the internet, by the way. But there are some techniques with this that I'm familiar with. Then we won't get into like any of that stuff, but those techniques are still pretty widely used by magicians and advanced players, yes?
Yeah, we kind of talked about two things that we're still using in casinos. The first one's hand mucking, and the second,
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about old style.
Bring it out, yeah.
Okay, let's go and take a look at those. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
That is crazy. I don't even know if we're going to include that. That's how crazy that is. While I got you here, I want to show you one thing. Maybe we can bring it out. Maybe you're familiar with this or maybe you're not. This thing absolutely blew my mind. You have to understand, I was looking at gambling things. I was looking at cheating devices, rather, to come up with like my latest magic trick. And I came across this website, markedcardsusa.com, and they had a whole bunch of things such as, the glasses. They've got
contact lenses so you can look at the cards, all sorts of really crazy contraptions, but one of which actually blew my mind, and I'm not sure if you've ever seen this. So this is a phone that looks like an iPhone. It has all the features of an iPhone, but it's not an iPhone. And now it opens this secret thing on the phone. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. We're gonna play a game of Hold'em. Can you shuffle these?
Sure. You got me. You got my attention, Chris. So
You can
I
wash
just
them.
Shuffle them. I can wash them. Okay.
You can absolutely wash them.
Yeah,
This
okay.
deck can absolutely be examined.
Okay.
And once it's washed, let me know. And how
Can
many?
I shuffle it? Can I give it a couple of riffle shuffles?
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Do whatever you like.
You got my attention there.
Um,
Okay. I'm good with that.
how many players do you want?
Let's say 5.
All right, here we go. What does that say?
Current number 5.
1, 2, 5, 2. Right?
Okay.
Player 1 will have the best hand.
Okay.
So it's 5 players?
Yep.
Well, let's do it face up here. That's 5. Doesn't look like the best hand.
No, certainly
Burn?
not. Well, we might end up with a straight. No.
What's the best hand?
Pair of 3, I think.
Player
right?
1.
Wow. Well, that's impressive. Nope, never seen that before. Heard about it, never seen it before. That's pretty cool.
It will instantly let you know who's going to win the card game, which I thought was really interesting as a magician. Obviously, you can use this. But one thing that's really cool, we're going to give these a good shuffle once more, give them a wash. And now you have to understand, there's a tiny camera in the side of here
Yeah.
that's reading this. Check this out. And there you go.
That's so cool. And then you get the
So,
golden
so what do those cards say? One at a time.
10, 10 of hearts, 8 of hearts, king of hearts, 3 of spade, jack of diamonds. Wow, ace of diamonds. That's really cool. 3 of hearts, jack of hearts, 3 of clubs. Don't have my glasses. 8 of spades. Oh, and it goes
And it goes on and on and on.
Wow.
And it's 100% accurate.
Wow.
Within, how long did that take?
That did not take long.
Took a second.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And so as a magician, I can have all this information in my ear after a shuffled deck.
That's great.
Let's do one more test on poker here. How do you feel about something like this when you see it?
That's awesome and humbling.
Yeah. When I see things like this, Steph, I'll be honest, it makes me never want to play poker again.
No, I understand. Yeah.
The side of this deck has been marked with UV ink
Right.
that you can't see. And you can only see on this little camera here. And it is marked in such a way that any angle can legit tell you what the stack of the entire deck is. So this is using a lot of different principles at once. And then obviously the internal mathematics happening to calculate the order in which things happen depending on the game you're playing. I didn't actually expect to show you something that you didn't know. This guy's brought so many things over. I was like, maybe he knows this already.
No, I did hear about it, never seen it before, so that's kind of cool.
As I mentioned, this video is about how magic and card cheating are so similarly related, but not only card cheating, just cheating and sort of gambling in general, because as you know, anytime there's money on the line, there's always going to be someone looking for an angle, whether that's a magician or whether that's, you know, a cheater. All right, well, Steph, thanks for hanging out, man. I really appreciate your time, really appreciate you coming by.
Great.
Guys, check them out, slimcardco.com online.